We're going to the Hungaroring, the Hungarian Grand Prix at Magyar Nagy racetrack in Budapest. It's going to be an interesting one. A 5 kilometer track, that's a 4.381 kilometer, about 2.722 miles. Wonderful track. 14 corners on the track. The turn 14 to turn 1, the longest part of the track where most overtakings take place. And we've seen a lot of fight on that straight. So it's going to be very interesting to see who goes on pole and how they are able to start. Last year we saw Lewis Hamilton shunting off in his Ferrari, and we saw Charles Leclerc taking pole. So it's going to be very interesting to see what these new cars will be able to do on that track. Mercedes still have the upper hand. Lewis Hamilton had won 8 races on that track, with McLaren winning 15 as a constructor on that 4.381 kilometers race line. A 70 lap race to be, race length of 306.630 kilometers. The first race was held in 1936, has been held 41 times. Now, 2 3 years ago, I told you they've built another track in which they've commissioned, but they've not really launched on, as in they've not really started racing on it. They're trying to move to that new track to see how move away from this track to that new track, but probably they want to be using 2 tracks which will not be will not work again in F1, because some tracks will be permanent while some tracks will be alternating. I think they'll be moving to the new track by 2028 or so. But this track is still a legendary track for them in Hungaroring. Last year I said Charles Leclerc took pole position with his teammate coming 12th. Now, who won the race? Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, and George Russell in that order. George Russell owning the fastest lap, destroying every cent of hope Charles Leclerc was having in that race to be on the podium. But it's not a Ferrari track. But probably this year, Ferrari can do something. We've seen them resurge, we've seen them challenge Mercedes. Even in Belgium, even not for the accident and the 5 second given to Lewis Hamilton, he might have challenged the Kimi Antonelli because he had the pace and he had the energy to push that car. So I think he could have challenged, but it's a great race in Belgium, though it's a bittersweet one for a lot of F1 fans because of the stewarding. But let's see how this Hungaroring will go. But fortunately, in 2021, we had the year of Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton in 2021. But who won the race? Esteban Ocon. Lewis Hamilton came third. And you can see in that race, they started wet. By the time they were going third time for formation lap, others pitted with Lewis Hamilton alone started now. Lewis Hamilton alone starting the race put him at a deficit. So going round to come back into the pit lane, he was starting last and he was able to come up third in the race. 21 was Bottas taking out the 2 Red Bulls, and his teammate Lewis Hamilton, after this incident, started alone on the track instead of pitting. Then he started from the rear after pitting on lap 4. He later came third, which is very interesting, and Max Verstappen tied 2 protagonists then. Had the damage, he came back, he was able to change some part of the car and he was in the race. He did a very good race, a very interesting one. 2022, we had Max Verstappen winning the race. That was the year of the Red Bulls. Hamilton second, Russell third. We had 2023, in which you had Verstappen winning the race, Norris second, Perez third, Lewis Hamilton fourth. 2024, it was another year. It was the year for the McLaren. Oscar Piastri winning, Lando Norris second, and Lewis Hamilton third, Leclerc fourth, Verstappen fifth. Verstappen had a great race that day. That was the year in which Red Bull started losing their dominance in F1. 2025, they lost it totally. They were able to come back, but it was too late. While in 2025, Norris won, like I said earlier. So it's going to be another huge one in Hungary. A different race is going to be, the weather forecast says, very hot, dry weather, plenty of sunshine, and minimal risk of rain. So if we have a dry racing in Hungary, we have less accidents and we're going to be having just the turn 1 Konfuku. Aside from that, it's going to be a very clean race. So Friday, we are looking at sunny intervals with moderate breeze and very high temperature of about 26 degrees. On Saturday, we are looking at mostly sunny, top temperature of about 28 degrees. On Sunday, we should be looking at a warm and mostly sunny race day. But anything can change. But for now, that is what is looking at, probably for that race. And we are looking at the third strategy to be, normally you have a 2-stop. Undercut is very powerful. You undercut, warm up your tires, you can get faster than those you're racing against. So we are looking at a primary 2 stops, but some drivers might go for a 3-stop strategy, but majorly we have a 2-stop strategy, which we have in mediums and hard been majorly. The soft tires will, to some, they might be able to start with the soft tires to gain positions, but when you run too much on soft tires, you might have to do a 3-stop strategy because they're going to blister all the tires and you come back, change it, which might put you in a very dangerous position in the race. you should be having the C3, C4, C5 tires, the softest tires. Probably the C3 will be hard, C4 will be medium, and the C5 will be soft. From lap 16, the medium compound, if they are starting with the medium compound, lap 16 to 22, you should be looking at changing the medium compound. But tires are much more brittle this year, so they should have much more. And we have some teams that have very good tire wear, so we should have some teams having that. So the second stop should be from like lap 40 to 46. If it is a one-stop strategy, drivers might be going into lap 25, 31 before they change and run it straight to the end. But majorly a two-stop, probably three-stop may make more sense in Hungary. If we are to look at Hungaroring and the Belgium or the Belgian track, there are two different distinct tracks. Belgian track is a little bit like a Silverstone, but with so much hills and better long straight. But the Hungaroring is a different one. It's like you having a Barcelona track with a long straight, just one single long straight. I think it favors Ferrari more, but it will still be a battle between Ferrari and Mercedes. Those are the main guys to fight this year. So let's see how that will work for them. I think Mercedes still, like I said, they still have the upper hand to the middle of season. So after the season break, we'll see if they're coming back. And we hope this Middle East war should stop. Probably if it's not stopping, we are going to have like 2 or 3 more European races to close the year to represent those Middle East races that are already looking at being knocked off. We thought we'd have the Saudi Arabian GP and Bahrain GP that were knocked off before. We should have them back, but probably we should have them be having European races to clean it up. But it's going to be very interesting as Kimi Antonelli is still leading the championship and is looking so good with it. His teammate George Russell is not having the best of seasons, so let's see if he can fight back, or the two Ferraris will be able to overshadow him, and probably Ferrari might not be able to challenge for the win. It's just half of the season, 11 races in Hungary. So let's see what happens. Up until the first practice in Hungary, don't want to miss it for anything. The first practice in Hungary, the practice two, the practice. By qualifying, we should see who has more pace and who is in line to pull up a shocker or to make us enjoy the best of Hungary. Up until then, I love you guys. Bye. Cheers.